And he hopped right in there.
I'll tell you this, it was not Arthur McCann. But nor was that in any way meant as a promotion for September 15th when you'll be seeing Ali against Spinks on ABC.
Certainly was not.
Although, who knows?
Let's see what happened here. All
Look
right.
at that.
Didi came in from his outside. He missed the first shot. And really just hold this stuff off. Didi will take a wick at you, I'll tell you.
Didi did take the first way. Did you see that right get in there?
I see how Tony got in it, too. He couldn't get out of it.
I'd say that's not too smart to have a fight right there in front of him, letting the official in the middle of you.
1st and 10. Dallas. Football at their own 29-yard line. They lead 28-0.
Interesting that Lee led with a right.
Why?
Because that's a dangerous blow against an orthodox fighter. It takes longer for the punch to reach the head of the other fighter who can respond with an answering left and get in more quickly.
Now I understand. Wait a minute. All right, look out.
Dorsett.
I believe I'll go this way.
Versus the field, having collided with his guard, pulling guard, Herbert Scott, number 68. Loses a yard and a half, and another Baltimore Colt is down.
Oh, that's too bad. That's Doug Nettles over there. They really are getting themselves beat up, aren't they?
They really are. Just to finish your lesson in boxing, the right lead was popularized by Muhammad Ali in his prime. And he got away with it because of his tremendous speed. Now many young fighters like to use it, like Sugar Ray Leonard. We'll be right back.
Doug Nettles, the shaken up Baltimore Colt, has left the field under his own power, appeared to just have the wind knocked from him. They've also been informed that D.D. Lewis of the Cowboys and Ron Lee of the Colts have both been ejected from the game for fighting. 2nd down and 12 for Dallas. Ball on their own 27-yard line. Draw back. Dump it to Dorsett. And Dorsett is on his way again. Sanders Shriver had a shot at him for a loss, and Dorsett just shook him off like he wasn't even there.
He almost looked like he just misaimed at him. He aimed where he thought he would be, and maybe most folks would have, but Tony can just accelerate so quickly, he was behind him.
Well, he wasn't even looking at Shriver, and he gave him a move, and Shriver missed. And another player is down. This time it's a Cowboy.
Uh-oh.
That's Burton Lawless. Dorsett short of the first down by about 3-4 yards.
The last graphic we showed, I think, expresses the total dominance by Dallas. The last 4 times they've had the ball, they've scored 4 touchdowns. 28-0.
And Dorsett putting on quite a show for national television. 107 yards receiving, 96 yards rushing on 8 receptions. 5:11 remaining in the 3rd quarter. It's all Dallas thus far, and we'll be returning to Texas right after this. Burton Lawless, left guard and messenger man for Tom Landry tonight, is all right. Like Nettles a moment ago, Doug Nettles of Baltimore apparently just had the wind knocked from him. And Roger Staubach drops into the shotgun. 3rd down and 3. The ball at the 35-yard line. And Preston Pearson, as he always does, is in there on the passing situation. He's number 26. There he is.
Oh, what a move. What a move.
Whoops. Lost something. Found it at the 46 for a Dallas first down.
Now, Don, you know what Pearson's in there for. Frank called it in advance. Why isn't there better coverage of it?
Well, they got so many others that can do the same thing, but he just happens to be the one that's been open. There's a lot of design there. It's awful hard to cover. Roger, again, had good protection, so you start right there. Pearson's got that instinctive, or just had the instincts to know where these people are, and he does have a way of getting open. We were talking here while on the commercial. Danny White played some in the preseason. If Dallas has a weakness, I think it's the possibility that Roger Staubach could get hurt this year.
So they should be playing Danny.
Well, I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying when you look at their strengths, we've talked about, that it's pretty hard to find the weaknesses. Roger is 36 years old, and he is in good shape and all that sort of jazz, and he's having a good night. They want him to play a lot in preseason because the preseason was shorter. Danny White, I think, could be a real key to the overall success of the season, along with a second-year Glenn Carano, another quarterback out of
They're
University.
high on him,
Yeah.
too. Very
Both of
high.
them.
But you make a good point. I think we'll see White as Dallas scores again.
Illegal procedure. It was first down and 15. Dorsett. Oh, watch out.
Gosh, how can he do that? How does he know?
He could do it.
How does he know?
Doug Nettles will try and catch him.
He got him.
And he does, but not until Dorsett rambles all the way down to the 8-yard line. And you're looking at a very special football player.
You really are.
There's no question about that. Everything he did at the intercollegiate level, he is proving he can do at the professional level.
But we go against the grain right here.
That's it, Frank. It's not designed there, and he just that's from there on is Tony Dorsett. Now, from about that first 5 or 6 yards, it was a whole team thing. Boy, to have a guy like this on your side just really makes all the difference. Keep him healthy.
Johnny Majors, if you're watching tonight, what you have wrought with that young man.
He wrought a whole lot for Johnny Majors.
Yeah, he sure did.
51-yard pickup, and he continues to pile up the statistics. They're almost incredible at this point. First and goal, the ball at the 8-yard line. He's got 254 yards of offense as we look at Doug Dennison giving Dorsett a little bit of relief. 147 yards rushing on 15 attempts. 3 receptions, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. This little man.
And a partridge in a pear tree. That's not bad.
He could produce that before the night's over. Second and goal, the ball at the 2-yard line. Well, you may not like the score if you're still with us, Ben. We hope you are, but you're watching some rather incredible individual performances tonight, mainly by number 33, Tony Dorsett. Dennison battles over the right side. Mike Barnes, with a lot of help from his friends, puts the brakes on as Dennison gets to the 1. It'll be third and goal.
16-game season. Let's assume he averages 150 yards per game.
All right.
That's 2,400 yards or thereabouts. Right?
Yeah, that's somewhere close. I'll take your word for it.
What does he do? Get a record with an asterisk next to his name, a la Roger Maris?
No. They've already settled that. They've said that, you know, it's whatever goes, it goes.
And Jim Brown did his in 12-game seasons. The 3 setbacks are in there. Alois Blackwell, a rookie from Houston, is in there. Gets the call. No, Roger hit the ball and dumps it off.
Oh, that's nice.
Jay Saldi, the tight end, saw back. Nifty piece of work. Put it into Alois Blackwell. Pulled it out. Saldi all alone in the end zone. Dallas touchdown.
That was nice. Well executed. Again, very difficult to defend against. A lot of pressure on that defense. Good fake by Roger. Slight roll. He could have walked that one in. Being a good quarterback that he is, let's get another.
About all that's left of this game, Don, is to see if we have the most lopsided score in the history of Monday Night Football.
Septian helps out that effort.
Yes, sir.
Adding one more, the Cowboys lead 35-0.
We're getting close. There was a night down here in Texas when the Cowboys played St. Louis. The Cowboys had been favored. St. Louis won it 38-0.
I still don't believe that.
It was a memorable night because of the discomfiture in the booth of Mr. Meredith. But now there is only pride in his former teammates, as it's clear the prestige, the tradition he left behind him has finally been captured by the current team.
They've really done a lot with what I left them, didn't they? These guys just took off and did a good job. They still haven't finished this stadium. Look at that.
The Cowgirls performing, and they have set off a trend in the National Football League that swept around the entire league. Only a few teams don't have cheerleaders anymore.
A little sex and violence, boy, you can sell it.
Septian to kick off.
Mr. Meredith with a pungent comment.
I didn't say that, did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay.
It'll be
right.
Marshall Johnson at the 7-yard line. Johnson has had some nifty returns, gets out to the 31-yard line once again. Marshall Johnson, third year back, played his college football over in Houston. So Don McCauley comes in along with Roosevelt Leaks, and Mike Kirkland remains the quarterback. Ron Lee, of course, number 34, ejected from the game, as was D.D. Lewis of the Cowboys. 2:40 remaining in the third quarter. Guy Brown, now number 59, in defensively in place of D.D. Lewis for Dallas. Roosevelt Leaks. Leaks out of the 35 to the 36-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. And Danny White, the backup quarterback, is warming up with the sidelines for Dallas.
Which, of course, is exactly the thing to do. Tom Landry knew it long before we did. He's going to protect Roger the Dodger.
I think he knows what he's doing. Al McCauley had a pretty good block that time on Henderson, old Thomas Henderson. He laid him back, picked up about a 5-yard one.
Mike Kirkland having quite a baptism tonight. His first pro football game. Hands off to McCauley. McCauley finds a big hole, gets the first down, and goes out to the 46-yard line.
This game has to hurt the people of Baltimore very much. Through the long years of contemporary professional football history, except for a year or two here and there, the Colts have symbolized football excellence. The great teams of Weeb Eubank, the victory in the sudden death game over Frank's Giants, the victory the following year, the victory in the Super Bowl in '71, the last 3 years, and suddenly to come upon this, it has to hurt.
1st and 10 for Baltimore. Kirkland and open, and Roger Carr, he doesn't hold on. Incomplete. It's not working out well for Kirkland when he does perform.
That ball was well thrown. Aaron Kyle was a defensive back in there. Again, there's Cliff Harris. Aaron Kyle is one of the really best athletes that Dallas has ever drafted, according to their draft system, and he's playing in there right now.
Interesting that you say that, because there you see Aaron Kyle doing what he does best. When Gil Brandt drafted Aaron Kyle, number 1, there was much behind-the-scenes criticism of him around the league. But few, if any, defensive backs hit harder than Aaron Kyle. His coverage may not be the best, but he hits.
Trivia, Staubach has tied his own club record, 11 straight completions. 4 of the last 9 have been for touchdowns. For Baltimore, this is McCauley. Line of scrimmage a little more. It'll be 2nd down and 9. But the 3rd down and 9. Mike Kirkland going all the way. They anticipated that. Bill Troop was also injured in last week's game, where Bert Jones had the incomplete separation of his right shoulder. Bill Troop has a bruised shoulder, could hand off possibly if he were needed. But it's Mike Kirkland all the way for Baltimore. 3rd and 10, and
another ball.
McCauley drops it again.
Yeah, Mike said, wait a minute, guys, I'm just now getting warmed up. Don't give me a little help. HEP help.
4th down, and David Lee will trot out. And Mike Kirkland is wondering what he has to do.
Once again, the statistics are self-revealing.
David Lee will punt deep for Dallas at his 12-yard line. Butch Johnson. Johnson will get an opportunity. Lee off the side of his foot. He wanted to go out of bounds and didn't get it. Johnson back out to the 33-yard line, corralled there by Darrell Luce. .24 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Lopsided game, yes. Great individual performances, no question about it. Tony Dorsett putting on quite a show as Roger Staubach retires for the evening. Out comes Danny White, originally drafted back in '74, 3rd-round pick. Out of Arizona State, played for Memphis in the WFL. Dorsett sits down, he'll get a rest. He should be exhausted just from running tonight. There it is, 254 yards of offense. Golden Richards is in, wide receiver number 83. 86, Butch Johnson is in wide receiver for Dallas. This is Dennison, right side. And they have got the horses.
They didn't slow down a lot back there. They got Scott Laidlaw at fullback and Frank, I see the Rayfield Wrights in at tackle.
Mayfield Wright, of course, trying to come back from knee surgery over a year ago. Seconds ticking away. And that is the end of the third quarter as we look at the blocking over on the right side.
That's Big Rayfield, number 70. You see blocking on Cook.
You're watching another explosive of ABC Sports. That is the end of the third quarter with the score Dallas 35, Baltimore nothing. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a moment. 35, Scott Laidlaw. He's a Stanford boy. Doug Dennison from Kutztown State is in there, 21. Wide receivers are Richardson, Butch Johnson, the other one, number 86, Richardson, 83, and of course the quarterback, number 11, Danny White. Handoff, Scott Laidlaw. Laidlaw squeezes out the first down, out to about the 49-yard line.
We've got some baseball scores. Quickly, let's look at them. That game doesn't matter to the pennant race. That does. The Yanks won the first of two, 9-1, lost the second 5-4, but all right, Seattle beat Milwaukee in the first. Milwaukee beat Seattle in the second. Boston lost to Baltimore, so the Yankees now trail the Red Sox by 5 games. They meet the 3 games later in the week in Fenway Park. So that's becoming a pennant race. Cleveland-Toronto game of no import.
First and 10. The ball at the 44-yard line of Dallas. White, inside handoff. Doug Dennison turns the right side and gets out to the 46-yard line. A gain of 2. It'll be second down and 8.
That fellow's a squirmer, the man from Kutztown State. You get in close, you notice. Landry goes to Dennison to put the ball across.
Another free agent came up, 75. Had a big year in 76 when a lot of injuries hit the Dallas second offensive backs. He had 540 yards that year. Second and 8.
There he goes again.
Dennison. Very close to a first down after the 46-yard line. Sanders Schreiber made the initial hit for Baltimore.
If you're wondering about the National League pennant races, quickly, let's get you abreast on those. Bucks won the first of 2, 7-4 over the Mets. Bucks won the second, 7-0 over the Mets. Bucks have gone crazy. Cards beat the Phils in the first of 2, but the Phils beat the Cards in the second. The Phils now lead the Bucks by only 1 game. Montreal beat Chicago in the first of 2. Montreal made it a twin victory. That deepens Chicago's troubles as we go past the Crossroads Day Labor Day. Cincinnati over Houston in the 9th, and right there you see a very, very big one. That's a final. The Dodgers beat the Giants 5-4.
And Danny White carries it himself for the Dallas first down.
So for you baseball fans who are also football fans, the Dodgers lead the Giants by 2.
Multiple changes. As we mentioned, Dallas will play the Giants next week. They play, of course, all the members of their Eastern Division of the NFC twice. They'll also play Los Angeles as
Some old stickum stuff. That old gooey
explain
stickum.
the shot. That's the stickum they wear.
Yeah.
Doubt he wears a lot of it. I'll give you the rest of that Dallas schedule in a moment. First and 10. Ball to Baltimore's 45. Dennison getting a workout tonight. It's to the 41, gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. And they also play the Rams. They play them in 2 weeks. They'll play Miami on Thursday, October the 26th. We'll be here for that one. Or rather, Minnesota for that one. They play Miami, Green Bay, New Orleans, New England, and the Jets. The Ring of Fame, I think they call it, don't they, Don? There's 4 Cowboys up there. Don Perkins, Bob Lilly, Chuck Howley, and Don himself.
Ring of Honor. That's it.
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Yeah, you fall into it. That is nice.
Second and 6. Screen to the flanker. Golden Richards. Rayfield right in front of it. Didn't get the block, and Darrell Luce in there to make the stop. Number 58 for Baltimore. There's that ring we were speaking of a moment ago.
Oh, how many key interceptions Chuck Howley made.
And how about that guy right there?
Lilly, he was a team by himself.
There's my man.
They call him a legend. What was his quote?
Who, Lilly?
Yeah.
I don't know. Perkins was Perk, can you go? And he'd say, uh-huh.
The quote that applied to Lilly was really the quote of the opposition. I can't get started with you.
Oh, boy.
Third down, a long 3. The ball just inside the 40-yard line. Laidlaw.
They can run off of this.
This is Preston Pearson.
And look at that interference out there.
Oops. Flag is down. Pearson is down at the 30. Has the first down, but a flag is down.
Looks like Herbert Scott's slow getting up, too, Frank. That was...
I think the call will be against Herbert Scott.
They call it off. Those were tough days, Don, when you started out with these Cowboys.
It's great, you know, to swap those old lies now, Frank, because it does get tougher and, you know, as the time goes on. But it really was fun, too. I think to be a part of the whole organization from the beginning was a lot of fun. Because we had some real characters down here.
Holding, and we are having a little bit of a problem with Tim Tunney's radio mic.
May have gone out since he turned boxing referee.
Cowboys back up to Baltimore's 49-yard line for its third down and 9. Left goes Richardson. Right, Butch Johnson. Anyway, drops into the shotgun. Screen again to Pearson.
Ah, boy, Joe Irvin almost got out there, but just one step behind him, couldn't quite make it.
First down, Dallas.
That's amazing, isn't it? Just keep rolling right along. I'd like to draw to that pair, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's not bad, is it? Don was making a point about Ermal Allen as we look at this in replay.
Little quick screen pass. Howard is just a flip out again to Pearson there, and that's the guy you've been talking about with his elusive moves, and he does have them. Kind of glides along.
As the statistics man, by the way, Preston Pearson started with Baltimore.
That's right.
Then he was traded to Pittsburgh, and then he became the lone, at that time, non-homegrown member of the Cowboys.
First and 10. Ball goes to Dennison.
Didn't quite make it.
They're all loose in there on the stop for Baltimore. Actually, Preston Pearson led the league in kickoff returns when he came up with Baltimore.
You know, Dallas was trying to hide a quarterback. It's either Jim Zorn or Steve DeBerg. I forget which one it was. And they came down the last cut. They got an offensive back hurt. It was Steve DeBerg. That's right. Now out at San Francisco. They really wanted to keep him. They felt that they had to take a chance. Maybe no one would pick DeBerg up. And they got Pearson, and DeBerg is now starting quarterback at San Francisco.
It all works out.
Yeah. It doesn't, it ought to.
Second and 10. Dennison on the draw, big hole, and really moved. Another first down, or very close to a first down at the 25-yard line.
You know, you mentioned DeBerg. He looked excellent in a preseason game in Denver a week ago Friday night. Very impressive. After that performance, they dropped Plunkett. Excuse me, but let's face it, preseason games mean absolutely nothing.
I think they may have had a little more importance when they don't have as many of them, but I think as far as the result of whether you win or lose, it's not quite that important, but it really is a great training ground to see what you guys can do.
Third down, Dennison just short of the first down. Laidlaw gets the call, and he is upset. The ball bobbles loose, but quickly recovered there.
That one was read fairly well, wasn't it? No place to go.
Sure was.
Oh, closed in there, loose. Filling in behind Fred Cook and Mike Barnes. And so Dallas will trot out Raphael Septien. Now let's take a look again.
That's Butch Johnson, and Bruce Laird had that inside position, and he just carried him right in there. That was also Jay Salde, number 87, trying to block in there, too. They just crushed that one down. Raphael, here's your shot, boy.
He was 16 of 18 for the Rams from inside the 40 a year ago. This one will be from 40 yards out. 45, rather. Whoops. He hooked it a little bit left. Plenty of distance.
Whatever the distance, Raphael is having trouble tonight. Hi, Tony. You gave us a good show, kid. We'll be right back.
Yes, he's had some. Tony Dorsett, if you joined us late, 254 yards of offense, 107 receiving, 147 rushing. Just a remarkable athlete. Roger Staubach left the game 16 of 22, 280 yards, 4 TDs. Right now, Baltimore has a 1st and 10 with the ball at their own 27. Mike Kirkland dumps it out to the #1 draft pick, Reese McCall from Auburn.
If you look at the Baltimore roster, apparently there are only 2 rookies on it. Reese McCall of Auburn, the #1 draft choice. Mike Woods, linebacker from the University of Cincinnati, #2 choice. But in reality, there are 6 first-year men on that squad because 4 draft choices of a year ago who were out for the season are now on the roster, including Randy Burke, the wide receiver, who was the #1 draft choice of a year ago.
McCall got 7 is 2nd down and 3. Ball at the 34-yard line. This is McCauley. McCauley short of the 1st down out to the 36-yard line. Bob Bruning made the stop.
If you want the test of a professional, or of a professional, it's when a man keeps going in the face of a 35-0 score. McCauley is a professional. There's no letdown in it.
I said something earlier I'll correct about McCauley. He is a senior, broke O.J. Simpson's single-season rushing record out of North Carolina. 1,720 yards, and they play some pretty heavy football in that conference. 3rd and 1. This is McCauley. Gets the 1st down. Out around the 38-yard line.
Now, make a point, Frank. You were discussing Dallas's schedule earlier. There's a very, very excellent 78 schedule analysis in a book called The Pro Football Predictor. And it sets forth the relative difficulty of every team's schedule in the league. Dallas does not have a difficult schedule based upon the strength of the opponents whom they have to face as the opponents played a year ago. Their difficulty is measured at .491. Baltimore's difficulty of schedule is at .513.
On 1st and 10. Kirkland. This will go into the hands of Cliff Harris. Harris immediately dropped. Glenn Dowdy, the intended receiver, the ball wobbling, thrown short, and Harris was right there playing center field, perhaps as good as anyone in football today.
He's an all-pro, has been through the years. It's safe to say as good as anyone in football today. And so it's still 35-0. Dallas will be right back.
We're back in Irving. Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Don Meredith. We hope you're still with us. Lopsided football game. The Cowboys over the Colts 35-0. Some really wild play, individual play on the part of some of the Cowboys tonight. Colts, of course, trying to play without quarterback Burt Jones. Their offensive machine, Lydell Mitchell, is gone to San Diego. They've had their problems. Scott Laidlaw for the Cowboys. Over the left side, gets a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Yeah.
Hi there.
That's what it's like up here.
Hi there. Yeah, that's good. Yes, that's good. We're all up here. We're working. We're working. I'm at the office. I just noticed that they've moved Andy Frederick over to the offensive left tackle when they brought in Rayfield Wright for the old right tackle position. So they're still giving him a